Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission, to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Okay, we knew it was going to happen, and it was coming, and it was announced, and everyone went googly-eyed for a while there, much like the characters on Lower Decks. Yeah, the crossover has happened between Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, and I was one of those that, please don't screw this up. And for the most part, while there are aspects that I was disappointed in, I also understand why they did what they did, because all through with by being kind of weaned on the making of Star Trek, I was able to look at the show from the eyes of a producer, not just as a fan, like the Blinky Blinks and Zap Guns. I was like, why they did what they did. So I understand why they, and as such, I think they did land more than they needed to. And then, I mean, coming into things, it's spoilers off the bat. So if you haven't seen it, go away now. But you start off full animation thing at the Cerritos, and the Lower Deckers are going down there to check out an ancient time portal. A little minor dispute between who discovered it, the Pike and the Enterprise, or the Orions fight it. And as they're about to take as Rutherford was taking a picture, they'd activate some, sucks them through, and suddenly now it's live action. And hilarity ensues, basically. So, it helps that it was, Jonathan Frakes who did this. And I said it, and I watched the Ready Room show after this, where they had Will Wheaton doing his Monty Hall thing, but also Jonathan Frakes, Jack Quaid, and Tawny Newsome were there. And everyone's geeking out all over the place. And Frakes said he learned a lot, actually, from watching them doing the animated stuff. Because he sat on that, and he had a little hand in that, but he learned a lot from the way Mike McMahon runs his show over there. So, okay. And it informed a lot of what they did on the live action stuff. And the whole thing with when Boimler climbs up on the saddle, that was totally improvised. Riker and you had Jonathan right there off camera that his wife screamed. It's just hilarious. And the thing is that it's less of a reference because he served with Riker on the Titan, for God's sake. So it's kind of semi-fan, but it's not just a historical comeback. It's current for him. Riker is a guy he knows. So. But still idolized because of all the stuff on the Enterprise D. But okay, and then Mariner comes through, and she's just as Mariner as before. But I frankly appreciate what Mech was doing. That Mariner was actually more likable in live action because you could actually see the expressions and stuff. And it's harder. It can be harder to read in animation. You can air there, but you have to appreciate the animation like that. Because everyone complains about the Cal art style. There's some subtleties in there, but but I can because the start I used to draw like that myself up until about the 4th grade. If I could find more ancient drawing, it looks like I was doing the DC superheroes in South Park because I had the same big eyes and no facial expressions. It wasn't until I got it was one of those giant size Superman, when they had a thing on there, Kurt Swan, how to draw Superman. I go, okay. Because I had always avoided anything like noses or any recognizable features. It was just big ball heads and but yeah, you get this, and everyone is very true to the characters. In fact, Jack Quaid said he had some interesting trying to work in some of the stuff that Boimler does on the show into his physical act. And it's like that was kind of weird doing that little Section 31 power walk he has. Again, what I would like to have seen is them go through and nitpicking a bit like I would have. That's not right. He doesn't belong here. That doesn't look quite good. What the hell is this doing on this ship? This is not right for this period. Just totally nitpicking. But again, I understand why they couldn't do that. Okay, Kurtzman is still ultimately in charge of this whole thing. In the end, it's Akiva Goldsman's show. He's running the show. Kurtzman has very little. He's been sidelined most part. But ultimately, you're still dealing with their thing, and you got to be when you're crossing over into someone else's show, you got to be respectful of that you're on their show. You are guests in their house. So you got to have a certain amount of that. Now, I did tweet to Tawny Newsome, though, that, as much fun as you two had on Strange New Worlds, I would love to see you on this bridge and include a picture of the original bridge with an add-on thing. But there's a fully functioning working one down in Kingsland, Georgia. My name is Coke Vic and a bunch into one last Strange New Star Continuous story. So maybe that'll have some get something going. But yeah, it's like it was okay. It's easily disposable because I'm looking at it as a one-off. Because frankly, that's actually something that kind of sort of Frake's saying the quiet part out loud is that on Strange New Worlds they view everything as a one-off. Everything just as your own little movie, and then which I don't know what's informing that that sensibility on there, because it's not the way you generally run a TV show. It's like directors in TV have always been hired hands. The producer is always the showrunner is the one the guiding vision. You're just there to tell them, okay, action, and you get some direction in the director. I think this could use a little more emotion on there. That's about it. You don't get a lot of things. So I think that may be part of the issue with why they do weird things on this show is because they have such an out there approach as far as how to do episodic television. It's like you can't do it like a movie, okay? But overall, everyone came out. The show does not go into total weirdness. What if things? Everything kind of holds together. And they managed to work in the whole thing. It's like, how about we, because yes, Orion says like they said earlier, somebody has to build the starships. They can't all be pirates, And they based the design of the Orion ship on what they had come up with for the remastered version of the original series, for the one they had in Journey to Babel. It was no longer just a blur going by. They actually designed a ship, so they based it on that. So yeah, they're, and like I said, Trek culture set a record for for ups and downs that will never be broken. I'm pretty sure. Okay, the previous record was like 36 ups and I don't know how many downs. This one shattered that one within like halfway through the episode, and it ended like well over. I think it was like 70 some ups, and with the Latinum up, it resulted in a -1 down. Okay, because one of the things with the Latinum is you deduct one down. Well, there was no downs at that point, so it's a negative number. So that record will never be broken over there. And of course, Ransom has to go talk about number one. Yeah, hottest first officer in the fleet. Well, yeah, he's married to her. Okay. If he hadn't said that, she would have caught in hell when he got home. I guarantee him to you. No, Mecca. Oh, he's fat. No. Ransom is fapping to her. He's doing more than fapping to her. Yeah. Boimler may have the recruiting poster in his little locker there. No, Ransom has the pin up in his room. Okay. Yeah. And he probably poses next to him, flexing. But No, everyone was very true to their characters, and while it would have been amusing to have Rutherford and Tindy pop over quickly, no, that's too much. Okay, just hear the voices. No, you stay there. Well, we're coming. And everyone worked out okay. I'm not surprised at this, but I do like Ortega's. I had been hearing all that stuff in there, and I do like Ortega's. No, she's not very professional, but there's enough snark there. Yeah, I could allow that. What I'm not too happy about is that they let her get away with it. There needs to be a little more smackdown, and that's a very bad idea. It shouldn't be the debate on this. It should be carry out my orders, Lieutenant. It's a bad idea. Objection noted. Carry out your set in a course. And again, little thing, outside of this one, but appreciate that they have apparently fixed the Klingons. Because they showed a teaser for next week's episode. And yes, the Klingon actually looks like a Klingon. Okay. So I appreciate little things they're doing there, but that's in the category of too little, too late. Okay. To fix this thing, really, they need to make a complete break with Discovery. No little thing. Oh, my long lost sister, Uncle Barton. It's like, have someone show up and say, who? No, never heard of her. Okay. And just totally rip, do a zoink, and while they're building new sets, have them shoot on the sets in Kingsland, Georgia, dressed up to look more like the pilot bridge in the sets. Okay. Ship them all down there, and then with the money they use those sets, they can bring in some proper air conditioning, because that's one thing. This heat down south is killing them, and I've been that warehouse they're in, that is a sweat box even on a good day. I can only imagine the hellhole it is now. It's like trying to shoot down there now, or even just hang out for a fan appreciation thing. They need some serious air conditioning in that place. And frankly, I think that is one thing. If someone would have little balls to go down and do a production on those sets, because they're perfectly workable. They are perfectly good set, really letter perfect to the original series. And they are working sets. It's not like Ticonderoga, where it's all sealed off and hermetically and museum quality things where wow, this is like that. I said, you want to be like it's like on the ship, yeah, Ticonderoga. You wouldn't like it's be on the set at Desilu, you go to Kingsland. I can't speak to the bunch in Little Rock with the Starship Ajax things. To my knowledge, they haven't opened it up to the public, but I assume it's going to be similar there. Working sets. And the thing is, with Kingsland, they have full sets. The only thing they don't have, to my knowledge, is emergency manual monitoring and engineering, and I kind of got a hint they're working on that. But they finally got a proper view screen on the bridge. That took a little while to get, but now it's gone, and it's no longer a green screen effect added later. They actually have the view screen on the bridge, and it's working. You can put stuff up there. So it's a little plug here for Neutral Zone Studios. They're always improving. They didn't just shut down completely after Star Trek Continues. They are constantly working and adding to the sets. And fan films are welcome. Hey, it's a $500 deposit, and they do have to approve your script. So, any ideas of a certain bunch to continue the sex trek escapades with Randy, Randy Spears and Mike Horner and all them say, no. We're not going to do that here. Okay, you've got your own thing. Don't. While it would be fun, and to imagine them shooting a new one on those sets, no, not going to happen. This is a family operation here, though. So, I may have said too much there, but. So, final verdict. Yeah, it's okay. It was funny. The laughs were in the right spot, and you got some moments there where Boimler is like looking like I may never get out of here. It's like what the hell. but also the solution. It's like, no, you don't need to change time. You have the solution under the deck right there the whole time, okay? Given the right circumstances, you probably could have figured this out yourself. But again, also, what started it was somebody coming through the damn thing. But it was all, everything was there, nothing weird. The only thing out of line probably was, Boimler hot wiring the sensors so they could track the Orion ship. But even that, it was still with the available tech. So nothing particularly gross happened, timeline-wise, and everyone went back, and everyone's very true to themselves. But also, it's like, because of the nature of this thing, because one of the things that was worrying me, because on Lower Decks, they never referenced anything of Discovery or Strange New Worlds, really. Whenever they would show something or refer to something from that period, it was always original series or the animated series. When they had, the episode Strange Energies and Ransom turns into a big god thing. They reference Gary Mitchell. The picture that comes up on the screen, he's in the pilot era uniform. He's not in the Strange New Worlds uniforms or Discovery uniforms. He's in his proper second pilot uniform. And when they've, other things like Easter eggs here and there, it's always original series, established, or animated series. Yet, for Christ's sake, he had the 20-foot Spock from the Infinite Vulcan. This show has shown more love for the animated series than even the Easter eggs being sprinkled around through DS9 and Enterprise. When the animated became legal to reference again, there was animated references all through. Like Garrick tended to Adosian orchids on Romulus one time. That's a reference. And Koloth Kur, referring to his old ship, the Klothos. That was from the Time Trap. And stuff in the animated series. There is, again. So the whole argument, it's not canon. No, it's canon. It was set aside for legal reasons because you had to sort out who owned what. And Roddenberry did not like long, lengthy explanations, especially when it revealed that he was not totally in charge of an aspect of Star Trek. So to shut everyone up and said, "Leave me alone," it's like, I don't like it anymore. Don't say anything. And of course the errand boys, would think, "Oh, Roddenberry said don't do it." It's like, that doesn't make any sense because he also never told, like Dorothy Fontana. He probably referred more to true stories. Like we can't reference that for legal reasons. He just left it at that. He never told Bijo, if you're ever going to do an update of the Concordance, leave out the animated series. No, never. And I don't have one within reach, but he had the 76, Concordance on his desk as a reference while making Next Gen. I think there's like 3 of them back there, but. So the whole thing about, animated series, no, animated series is canon. Shut up. You had all the principals involved. You had Gene Roddenberry, you had Dorothy Fontana, you had almost the entire cast. You had most of the writers from the original series back. Because of a writer's strike, oddly enough. Because like now, animated shows are not affected by a writer's strike. You can write for an animated show and not be violating the strike. So expect a lot of high-quality animated scripts coming out for the next few months if this thing goes on any longer. I'm not sure if that applies to actors as well, but it does apply to writers. They can still write for an animated show. But, okay, this... So again, there is a bit of a thing of why the crossover with Lower Decks, because there's a large contingent of us old-time hardcore fans who like Lower Decks. Because they are showing the proper respect. When they're making a reference, it's not just name dropping. They are actually, it makes sense to the story or the context of what they're showing. And when they show it as it properly was. So, as opposed to the other shows where they're strip mining for names and concepts and paying no attention to how it's executed, where you got like Xenomorph Gorn. It's like, this is not how you develop a spacefaring race. This is just ridiculous. And other stuff where or Lahan, Noonien, Singh. It's like, that makes no sense whatsoever freaking ever. And especially when they go on to totally trash the timeline. They're like, well, you just killed Star Trek, okay? You killed the thing is, what's going to happen? That probe comes a-calling. Nobody's in a position to put a stop to it. Because Spacey didn't happen, therefore Wrath of Khan didn't happen, therefore Kirk and his crew are not on a captured Klingon bird of prey, out of range of this thing. They'll probably be back at Starfleet, and they'll get zonked like everybody else, and guess what? Earth dies, you killed Star Trek. Congratulations, Kiva. Yeah. Butterfly effect. Yeah, you gotta... And that's why I'm not going to become a regular viewer of Strange New World, because of the arrogance involved. And they think we have to change canon. You don't change canon. Canon is set. It is the canon. It does not get changed, okay? The only way you're going to change that is to bring Gene Roddenberry back from the dead, back hale and hearty, and put him in charge. That's the only... And even then, when he wanted to change things, he got blowback on that himself. From the other right. We did that back now. His user response was, allow me the consistency of my inconsistencies. So. But yeah, there were things that, no, you can't do that, Gene, okay? We're trying to keep this in the same universe. You can't change that. Okay, we're stuck with it. That in mind, though, he did, one of his declarations, amongst many others, which were ignored, but one of them that kind of stuck, for the most part, is that he considered Star Trek V to be apocryphal. Maybe not entirely non-canon, but dubious authenticity, put it that way. My usual dodge is that everything that was told was in the course of telling Spock a ghost story around the campfire as part of one of the other rituals of camping out. And Kirk and McCoy had had a few too many, were imbibing of the secret ingredient that McCoy had in his beans. And this would also account for why the story gets stranger and stranger as it goes on, as they're having more and more of that secret ingredient. Until finally, and then we fight a god on that planet. And he's in a big blue thing. It looks like Santa Claus. And he's in the... Gentlemen, this is highly illogical. I'm going to sleep now. No, this is getting to the best part. Hold on. And then he starts zapping you, and you guys get beamed back up. You two get beamed back up, but they got to leave me behind, and I got to run through the hills, and I thought I saw a rock monster there, but no, it's just God zapping me. And then you spot. You're on the clear, and you get to chewing out the thing, and you blow God to bits. And then we have a party on the Enterprise. And that's how we wrap that up. And say, now you can go to sleep. I've been going to do a drunken commentary with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy for Star Trek V. Have that as a commentary track. Have fun. Because just some of the things there, Yeah, I married a Vulcan princess. Vulcan has no royalty. Shut up, Spock. But anyway, now we're getting way off in the weeds here. So, all right. If you like Strange New World, if you like Lower Decks like I do, it doesn't betray much. If you're a fan of Strange New Worlds, it's par for the course because every episode this year has been a gimmick. So, this one looks pretty straightforward coming up, but. Kids, sis, I got her meds. So, but the musical one coming up, I think that will be pretty much like no certain ideas. What would we do a musical? No, this is not Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It only works. Well. And we'll wrap it there. We'll talk at you later, guys.